What's up, guys? Welcome to another week of Cart Talk. This week, I have our one and only Trent Ryan. We're gonna talk a little bit more about how Trent got into Barstool and kind of what he's up to now. So you do a lot of different things, but I like to start people from the ground up.
Okay.
So you grew up in Iowa.
I did. I grew up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Okay, and you went to college where?
So, it's kind of a long story, but...
We want the story. We're on Cart Talk. Tell us the story.
Right out of high school, I didn't go to college because I didn't think I needed a degree.
Okay.
I figured I could just make money, and I didn't need a degree. I was wrong about that.
Okay.
2 years into working just a regular job, I was like, I need a degree to, have the sort of life that I want. So I ended up going back to school at this place, Kirkwood Community College, where I got an associate's degree, which is just a 2-year degree. And then I went to Mount Mercy University, which is also in Cedar Rapids. I was an English major, and then, which was hard to say for some reason.
English major.
English major, and then...
Trent's like, I'm a little tired
I
today.
can't, no, it's fine. And then I had a semester left of that, and while that was all going on, a college schedule sort of affords you the opportunity to do what you want, and I had started my own blog, and I was sort of doing that thing because I had wanted to do that as well. And with one semester left, I got the Barstool offer. So instead of finishing out my degree, I just joined Barstool. So I never graduated.
Wow. So what was your initial blog about?
My initial blog was very Barstool, but it was all Iowa stories.
Okay.
So just local Iowa, weird Iowa stories, Iowa sports. The way that I got on Barstool's radar was I was covering Iowa basketball at the time. They've got this head coach, Fran McCaffrey, who, when a call doesn't go his way or whatever, he gets really angry, and he makes this crazy face. So I had an artist draw up a picture of his face, and I put it on T-shirts, and I sold a ton of them locally, and the university shut me down. They gave me a cease and desist letter, so I emailed Barstool, which at the time was just like a general email, and it was just like, I need legal advice. Like, what do you guys do when you guys have T-shirts that get taken down by universities or whatever? And Dave emailed me back and was like, you probably just got to take the shirt down, because I had no money at the time, no lawyers, no nothing. Yeah. But he was like, I read the blog, I really like it. Let's try a trial run, and it kind of took off from there.
And then, so from there, that's amazing that Dave reached out and you figured that out. So
it was crazy. It was just like a shot in the dark. It's interesting. Like, I don't think, like, people are always like, how do I get a job at Barstool? How do I get a job at Barstool?
It's so natural.
It's like, you got to be doing something. Like, a lot of people will say, they'll just come up to you and be like, I know everything about the NFL. Yeah. I can make great picks. I can write great blogs. I can do this. I can do that. Just do it. Just start doing it.
Yeah.
And then if you start to like create a little bit of noise, like with the T-shirts for me, where like I'm getting shut down by the university, which is sort of a bad thing, but it's also a great thing, because it's like, I'm doing something that people are taking notice of. And then when you go to a guy like Barstool and a guy like Dave, they're like, oh, this guy's already got something going on. He can do it, as opposed to just DMing someone and being like, I think I'd be great at this. So, just have your own thing going already.
Wow, that's like for everyone wondering how to get a job at Barstool, already have your own thing going. That's amazing. That's funny, because that's kind of what happened with me. I was like, I can do this. And then everyone was like, well, you have to do it and show us that you can do it.
100%.
Well, that's a really good point. So then getting to Barstool, you're in Iowa. So I think we chatted about this like before. You like lived in the suburbs of Iowa.
Right.
And then you moved to New York City when? Like, when did the trial run start, and when did Dave Portnoy realize that he wanted to have you on his team full time?
So all that stuff that I was describing before, that was 2013.
Okay.
So I got hired officially beginning of 2014. So the company was still all spread out at that point. It was New York, Philly, Boston obviously, Chicago. So everyone was still all spread out. And that was, like I said, beginning of 2014. So I lived in Cedar Rapids and was working for Barstool for 3.5 years.
That's a long, okay, I didn't realize that.
Before the churning group got involved and everybody moved to New York. So I was, for the first couple of years, I was living in Iowa and blogging for Barstool, and that was just my full-time job.
So then you did blogging for 3 years, and then when did you realize that you wanted to do a podcast or chat about golf? Like, this technically is a golf cart talk. So when, changing my question up a little bit, when did you actually start playing golf? And when did you find it an interest that you wanted to move it from blogging to physically speaking about it and playing it on camera?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been playing golf on and off my whole life, which will probably surprise people because I'm still so bad at it. But I would just play it in a way where like improvement was never really the goal. Like I started playing when I was, I guess, early high school, and even before that, my dad's a big golfer, my mom's a big golfer. So I've been playing for a while, but it was always just to go out there and have fun. It was never like, oh, you gotta, break 100, break 90, break 80. That wasn't the goal. It was just, let's go out there, you're outside, it's a good time. So I've been playing for a while, and then, when did I start blogging? I've been blogging about golf pretty much since the beginning.
Okay, so you've done controversial
not
things and then also
not like nothing analytical. That's not really the way Barstool works. It's not like the X's and O's of anything. It's just like this funny thing happened during a tournament.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been doing that from the beginning, and then right before I moved to New York, Riggs got hired.
Okay.
And we both like golf. I'd obviously never met him. He's from St. Louis. I'm from Iowa, but we had never crossed paths before. But we DM'd back and forth a little bit about like, oh, we both like golf. Nobody's really fully covering it at Barstool. I had been blogging about it, but like podcast is where everything was going.
Yep.
It was blogs for a while, then it was podcasts, now it's video, and then it's TikTok, whatever. And then so Riggs and I DM'd a little bit, and we're like, let's try to like do a podcast, do a trial run. And it's funny because, like I said about getting hired at Barstool, you have to be doing something. It's also the same once you get hired and want to do something new. You just have to start doing it.
Yeah.
You still got to do everything you were doing before. Like I still blogged like crazy every day.
Yep.
You could not miss a day of blogging. You had to, otherwise Dave's going to be on your ass. Yeah. But if you can find little bits of time to be like, I want to start a golf podcast with this guy Riggs, like let's record at 11 p.m. at night, and we'll just do trial episodes. And then, we did a few of those, and you end up showing them to Dave. I moved to New York, so it makes the recording easier.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Dave is like, all right, you guys have the green light to do a golf podcast. And the beauty of Barstool is you can do anything you want, and if it works, they'll let you do it.
Yep.
It's not like they never tell you to do something. They want you to do it on your own, because if you do something on your own, you have passion about it.
Yep.
And that's how the people are the most successful. So
wow, that's such a good point.
we just kind of did it like we almost had a separate job while having the Barstool job, while recording this weird golf podcast.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know.
And then eventually it was like podcasts just started popping up everywhere. So Dave was like, yeah, go ahead and give it a try. And, we've been doing it for 6 years now.
That's
been
so
crazy.
And then you guys have been doing this for 6 years, and then you guys are Taylormade sponsored athletes. When did Taylormade like pick you guys up, or did you guys get a club sponsored by them?
I think it was 2020?
Okay.
2019, 2020, Taylormade hopped on board, which was
A full circle moment, or?
It's crazy. Like we make jokes all the time about like, oh, we're professional, or we're Taylormade athletes, we're professional golfers.
Yeah.
But you see it now, like with the golf YouTube space, where it's like club sponsors are a big thing now.
Yeah.
Like we got ours a few years ago, but everybody's getting them now.
It was
Callaway's
before
doing
though, but it was like
it
cool.
was, but like like at the time it was crazy. It was like they obviously have the Tigers, the Rorys, the Colin Morikawas. Like that's sort of the traditional
You guys.
right, which is crazy. But that's those pro golfers are the traditional route. But the thing that TaylorMade did that was smart was like, oh, let's get into the social media, YouTube, blog world, where those the big time golfers they're always going to be relevant because they're huge names. But they also have to play well in a tournament for them to be on TV and to show the TaylorMade stuff. But for us, we're doing social clips all the time. We're on Twitter all the time. We're on Instagram all the time. We're constantly putting things out. And so for TaylorMade to see that, to be like, oh, these guys will promo all the time. It was very smart by them, evidenced by the fact that now every club manufacturer is getting into this world too.
And it's so smart. And you're doing like things like, breaking 90 and all these things, breaking 100. I need a little bit of advice with like pressure, because you guys played in the Pro-Am in Zurich, correct?
We played, where were we?
I think it was Zurich. I was there. It was Larry Fitzgerald, remember?
Oh yeah, was that the Pro-Am? Yeah, we did play.
Yeah, so I'm playing in my first competitive tournament with a lot of people watching. Is there any advice that you can give me to be able to be like, when you're standing over the ball, knowing that there's a high percentage chance that you might shank this ball? Like,
what
do you tell yourself?
Well, because I've asked a lot of people the same question, because I'm not great with the nerves.
Me neither.
It's like, they're always like, nobody cares, like what you shoot, like nobody's gonna remember, like it's fine. But again, like when I step up to the first tee at a Pro-Am, my heart rate's at like 185. So like all the advice in the world is like not gonna help you. That's not great advice to give you right now, but
You're like, just go out
you
there
just
and do it.
you just got to do it and
Yeah.
just like hope for the best. And if you screw up, like I screw up all the time on the golf course, all the time.
Yeah.
And if you just show people that, because you know what? The masses screw up all the time at golf. Like the fact that, or the people think that, you know, they want to watch pro golfers, obviously. People, you watch those on the weekends, Thursday through Sunday. But that's not the average golfer. If you want to watch the average golfer, you watch our videos, your videos, and it's relatable because golf is so hard that it's like, if you fuck up, people will be like, oh, that person fucks up just like I do. That would be the only advice I would give, is that like,
everyone else fucks up and you can fuck up too, it's okay.
It would actually be more surprising if we did well every single time.
That's
It'd be
so
stunning. It'd be stunning.
That is such a good point. And then like people following you, like how does it feel to start in Iowa, starting this blog, and then now have people like walk up to you, and I hear this question probably 100 times over, Trent, how did it feel breaking 90? And I feel like I'm gonna ask you this question so you can put it on your social media so you don't get asked this question as much as you do, so you can answer it now. You break 90 yet, how did it feel when you broke it? How does it feel that you have all of these people following along with you on this like journey to reach your goal?
So I haven't broken 90 yet. I did break.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm so
That's
sorry,
okay.
everyone. I meant 100.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
I meant 100.
When I broke 100, it felt great, and people do ask me about it a lot, which is great. I'm glad that people ask me because it means they're following along. It means they're invested. A lot of people watch the videos, which is great. It's surreal to have people following along on a journey like that. Breaking 100 felt great. It was, I mean, because it just took so long, and it sounds stupid because people break 100 all the time.
Yeah.
But
to you.
It was a big deal to me, and there was a lot of pressure. Frankie's obviously my guy, and we've been shooting all these videos, trying to do it. You don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. So when it did, it was a huge payoff. But then this is the thing about golf, as soon as you break 100, then it's like, all right, let's try 90.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a pursuit. It's addictive, and it's a never-ending pursuit.
Well, it's great people are following along with you.
It's really cool. It's surreal. Like you said, it's just like starting in Iowa, and now we've got this thing going on where people are following. It's very surreal.
People following
Sponsored.
You.
The way that I approach it is I try not to think about it.
I know, I love that. That's such a good idea.
I think if you start to think about it, you'll be like, what do people want to see? What do they not want to see?
Yeah.
Like, if we got this far by just trusting our instinct on like what we think is going to be good, let's just do that. And if it doesn't work, at least you lived by what you thought was going to work.
Wow, that was like such a good statement. I'm like, I'm
true.
taken back by that. I'm literally just gonna put that like on my background and just like take that apart. That was so good.
It happened with. Did you watch the show Lost?
Yes.
Well, all right. So what happened with that show, where it was what a weird thing to bring up during this, by the way.
It's fine. We're just talking
but
about
it happened
Lost
with the show Lost, where at the beginning these guys were just like, "This is our idea," and we think it's a fucking awesome idea, and it was, and it became a super popular show. And then as the seasons went on, they started reading everything about the show, being like, "What is this person gonna like? What are the people who are watching the show gonna like?" And it just turned into a convoluted mess.
Yeah.
And it fell off. It wasn't as good at the end as it was in the beginning.
Trust your gut, man.
Just trust your gut. Do what you think is gonna be right. And if it doesn't work,
try something new.
Just try something new.
But Trent, I've been dying to ask you this question, hard-hitting question. What was a bigger moment for you? Bringing the suitcase out or breaking 100?
Oh man.
You got to answer it. I mean, I'm not going to ask a lot of hard questions, but I think this is the one people want to hear.
It's a really good question because I sort of live in two worlds with Barstool, in that we do the golf stuff. I'm trying to, we're making these videos, we're doing the podcast, and then I've got this weird bachelor existence where I just tweeted at producers for 5 years being like, I want to be the guy who comes in after a 2-on-1 date and pulls the person's luggage.
Yeah.
And that dream came true, which is another thing that's beautiful about Barstool. But,
you don't have to answer it, I guess. I guess you can say no, but I guess you can always say no. I'm a very chill, podcast, I guess you would say. Right?
Yeah.
But if you want to say both, you can.
I don't
They're differently important.
I don't want to say both.
Okay.
Breaking 100 was slightly better just because I had so much fun doing it. Not that I didn't have fun doing the luggage pull, because obviously that was great.
You did it for 5 years. You tried for 5 years.
Right. I doing those videos with Frankie is so much fun, where it doesn't even really feel like we're working.
Yeah.
We just go out there, we get to play golf. The fact that is my current reality, I would have to go with that as being the better one.
Okay, and that's completely fair. And another question I'm curious about, what made you want to get into watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? Like, what attracted you to that show?
So when I first got hired in 2014, I was always just looking for something to do. Like,
Yeah.
you're always looking to like blog about this and tweet about that. You always want to be active. So I for whatever reason, I had not watched the show prior to when I got hired, but it was on Monday nights, and I had just gotten hired, and I was like, let me tweet about this reality show. And it started that I was making fun of it.
Yeah.
I would just make fun of every single part of it. It's so cheesy. It's trashy reality TV, so it's an easy thing to make fun of. And then like 4 years in, I just realized that I was a fan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now watching it. I still make fun of it because there's parts that are very funny,
Yeah.
but I just love the show. And I've been watching it for 10 years now, and nothing got me into it except I was looking for something to tweet about on Monday nights, and I picked that, and I ended up loving it, and then one day I ended up on the show.
And now you have these two amazing lives and realities. I mean, the conversation that we just had, we just hit every single point and every single nail in the head. So honestly, I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for telling everyone. Trent and I honestly talked about a lot of good things. I think the best thing that we talked about was how to get hired at Barstool. He made a lot of things clear and helped me as a current employee of like being able to better my career. So thank you so much for that. And
Of course.
till next time.
Thank you for having me.